welcome to the weekly update with Kyle Johansson and the mayor. I know how much you really enjoy and track the weather, and I know that this past few days, I'm sure you've been glued to the weather and seeing what's going on.
In Florida, in North Carolina.
And what it did to Georgia, what it did to Savannah and everything else. And we were just talking about this a minute ago. Are we going to feel any of the effects of that hurricane?
It's going out to sea.
Out to sea. All right. Well, Kyle, what's the weather going to look like over the next 7 days?
So today we got partly cloudy skies, high of 76. Tonight, clear skies, low 52. Tomorrow, mostly sunny to sunny skies, high of 83, low 56. Saturday, sunny skies, also band day for the football team against the Long Island University Sharks, high of 87, low 64. Sunday, sunny, high of 89, low 64. Labor Day, sunny skies, high of 92, low 64. Next Tuesday, sunny skies, high of 94, low 65. Next Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, high of 93, low 66. And next Thursday, we got partly cloudy skies, high of 90, low 63. And this weekend's the home opener of the football team against the Long Island University Sharks at noon. It's also band day, so they're having high school bands and also the Marching 110 on the field for the national anthem and halftime show. In the beginning tomorrow is also the Childhood Awareness Cancer Month, beginning September 1st through September 30th. Trinity Gold football game is September 16th, and that game is against the Iowa State Cyclones. Kickoff time is at noon as well. And this weekend we got soccer at 1. Next week is the Bobcat Volleyball Invitational, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and field hockey the following Sunday. And FYI, don't forget, next week, since there's a holiday on Monday, don't forget there's a trash day next week, one day, due to the holiday.
All right. Sports. So hopefully for the Trinity Gold game that you and I will be able to get down on the field as we've done
last year with Lynn Harder.
Yeah, last year. Yeah, because it's always a great game. The city really kind of turns itself gold as best we can, to where I know that we have had, we put gold bows on all the lamp posts, and just, again, raising awareness for something that, just in my opinion, like so many other things, just doesn't get the attention that it needs. Cancer, has, I think, affected everybody in one way or another, whether it was a relative or a close friend or yourselves, But when you look at and you think about the challenges that exist with people who have children and the child with cancer, it's, I feel like there's so much brain power out there when it comes to, medical knowledge and research and whatnot. We got to, sooner or later, we got to beat this thing and beat it good. But, so hopefully you and I will be down the field together for the Trinity Gold game. I'm going to probably be going to quite a few games this year. I'll be at the game on Saturday.
Me too.
So I'll look for you. I know you'll be looking for me, so we'll figure it out. Several things in the news to share. The first being the city of Athens. We had several police cruisers that we were disposing of. This is something that came up at council. Council has to authorize the disposal of vehicles and things of that nature. So we had several police cruisers that needed to retire, as we have received new vehicles for our police cruiser fleet. And I got to work once we got the ordinance passed, and in there was the option to donate to other municipal governments if we so chose to do that. And we did. I reached out to the village of Gloucester, also reached out to the village of Albany, and the village in Perry County, Corning, and said, hey, we've got some police cruisers. These all have a reasonable amount of life left in them. They had the gear associated, with any police cruiser associated, still available on the cruisers themselves. And we were able to donate to the Village of Albany, the Village of Gloucester, as well as the Village of Corning. So it's great, having the opportunity to help support our neighboring communities. That's what my administration is all about, is, making sure that all boats are rising with the tide as we look at how we can lean in and help each other where we can. So that was great. I know there's a press release that went out on this. I basically reached out to my partners within the Mayor's Partnership for Progress and found a good location for a lot of these assets for villages that truly had a need. Fire hydrant flushing. This is something we've talked about several times. This is something that we do every year. We do it during the summer just to make sure that the fire hydrants are functional, and also flushing them to make sure that we get any sediment that may build up within the fire hydrants, the risers themselves. Still hydrants yet to be flushed: Stimson Avenue, Kerrs, Mill, Putnam, Oak, Hawking, and Elliott. So this is primarily down on the Mill Street corridor area, if you will, within the high-density student housing. And again, if your water coloration does change a little bit, it's temporary. Your water safety is still, the water's fine. There's no safety issues with that water. We would encourage you, though, to not wash any whites if you do see a discoloration of your water, because it can affect the whites. So, but as a drinking source, your water's fine. If you have any questions about this, always feel free to reach out to Engineering and Public Works at 593-7636. Also related to our streets, the street paving has been barreling along this summer. I was just driving into work this morning and noticed, Kyle, down by our place, Hooper Street was being repaved.
Yes, it is.
So Hooper's on that list. I was also driving out East State Street to look at the solar array that is now being installed on the roof of the community center. And on my way there and on my way back, I looked over, and Strathmore Boulevard is being repaved right now. I'm not going to go through the whole list. I've done this before, but just bear in mind that we do have McKee Paving that's out there doing a lot of our resurfacing on streets that have to be milled and repaved. There will also be a fair amount of crack seal that is going on streets that still have decent serviceable life with the asphalt, but the crack sealing certainly extends that longer without having to go in and do a 1.5-inch mill and a repave. Another street that's up in our neighborhood that I noticed was being done is Longview Heights. So Longview from Mulligan is being done out to, I believe, to the corporate limit of Longview Heights. So they're getting paved as we speak. So there'll be flaggers if they are closing the street, local traffic only in some cases, but as they're working, McKee is leaving the traffic flow, but probably having some flaggers out there to help with the work. Income tax. One of our favorite things, right? Income tax payers can now file their estimated income tax payments online. This is something that is relatively new. And if you're interested in taking advantage of this, which can also include payment on your tax balance due, a prior year balance due, and payment plans, which the tax administrator will set up for someone who knows that they are maybe being a little bit financially challenged at this point. They can set up a payment plan, and you can do this all now online. Just ask that you reach out to the tax administrator at 592-3337, or you can email them at incometax@ci.athens.oh.us. Planning Commission, we have a public hearing coming up. It's going to be on September 7th here in council chambers. So this is pursuant to Athens City Code 21.09.13, where we have to hold a public hearing for a potential planned unit development up at Homestead Court. This is up in University Estates neighborhoods, Homestead Court and Broadmoor. So if you're interested in chiming in on anything with that particular development, please come. Those are open meetings to the public, and we encourage people to come. I was just looking at the OU's post, and I did an interview with a reporter. Her name is Paige Fisher, and it had to do with our Austro-Ukraine, Athens, Ohio partnership that we have. This is not what you typically see as you come into cities where the Sister City International sets up a partnership, if you will, between a city in the United States somewhere and somewhere around the globe. This is through the U.S. Agency on International Development, USAID. It's quite a nice article that kind of spells out the level of engagement that the Athens city government will be having with the Austro-Ukraine government to help them better understand, how in the state of Ohio, cities and villages are able to self-govern, because we are a home rule state. While sometimes it doesn't feel like it, we are. So we're able to govern at the municipal level, and that's not always the case in the sovereign nation of Ukraine. So I encourage people to check out that article. I've got a proclamation to read, and Kyle, you indicated that tomorrow begins Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. It is also National Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And so if I may, I'm going to read the proclamation. And that being Office of the Mayor proclamation, whereas this year approximately 283,000 individuals will be diagnosed with prostate cancer here in the United States, and roughly 34,700 will die from prostate cancer this year due to the disease. And whereas men with relatives, fathers, sons, brothers with a history of prostate cancer are twice as likely to develop the disease. And whereas prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in American men and the fourth leading cause of cancer death in men behind lung, colon, pancreatic cancers. And whereas military veterans are 1.5 times more likely to get prostate cancer. And whereas 1 in 9 men will get prostate cancer sometime in their lifetime, African American men are at the highest risk for the disease with a rate of 1 in 6. African American men are 2.3 times more likely to die from the disease. And whereas education regarding prostate cancer and early detection strategies are critical to saving lives, preserving and protecting our families. And whereas all men are at risk of prostate cancer, and we encourage the citizens of Athens to acknowledge this the importance of prostate screenings. Now, therefore, I, Steve Patterson, of the great city of Athens, Ohio, do hereby proclaim September of 2023 as National Prostate Cancer Awareness. In looking at this proclamation and reading through it, it certainly highlights, the systems that are in place when you look at the risk for African American men in 1 in 6 having prostate cancer, and the death rates associated, 2.3 times greater. It certainly begs the question about access and whatnot. So this is the real deal. This is something that we really need to stay on top of and support individuals in any way that we possibly can when it comes to something like this. And again, as we had at the front end of the show, talking about childhood cancer, same thing. You know, I know that there's smarter people than me for sure that are out there doing research daily on finding ways in which to beat childhood cancer. In my opinion, it can't happen soon enough. Upcoming meetings. We've got City Council regular session coming up. That'll be September 5th, the first September meeting. The usual time, 7 o'clock here in council chambers. The Environment Sustainability Commission is going to be meeting on the 6th of September, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock here in council chambers. And then Planning Commission, which I mentioned a little bit ago with the public hearing, that'll be taking place again here in council chambers on Thursday, September 7th at 12 p.m. All right. One last thing I want to share.
Trash delay next week, too.
Trash delay. Two more things I want to mention. Trash delay, because we have Labor Day weekend. So a long weekend this weekend, which pushes Monday collection to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday, and then Friday is everybody else. Do you have an opinion, Kyle, about the potential, and I think it's going to happen, but the renaming of our national forest, the only national forest here?
Bobcat National Forest.
Bobcat National Forest. I like it. I mean, I know that the tribal nations came together and indicated that there were 3 names that they found to be the appropriate names for removing Anthony Wayne from the naming of the Wayne National Forest to either Buckeye National Forest, Ohio National Forest, or Katiwa National Forest. And Kyle, you and I are of the same mindset. I started thinking, I was sitting next to the mayor of Columbus 2 days ago, Andy Ginther, who's a friend of mine, and I leaned in and I said, are you tracking this naming of the Wayne National Forest or renaming it to Buckeye National Forest? I said, the citizens of Athens would rather it be Bobcat National Forest if we're going to name it something. And he chuckled. He and I, it's this friendly thing where I'm always busting his chops about, OU and OSU. Not that they compete against each other, but in a lot of ways we do, at least institutions of higher ed. I'm with you. I think
Bobcat would be the more better way to just do it.
Make sure you get your letter in to the Wayne National Forest. Say, hey, I want it to be Bobcat. There's still time, by the way. Get it in by Monday if you have an opinion as to what the National Forest here in the state of Ohio gets renamed to. I know that I certainly have an opinion, and they will be hearing it shortly. Thanks for joining us, Scott and Ryan. Thanks for all that you do at the government channel and keeping us live and on the air and getting out to the public all the interesting, cool things that are happening here in our amazing, amazing city. And thanks to all of you who are tuning in. Please join Kyle and I again next week for the